You ever have one of those Saturdays that starts out feeling like it's gonna be just another lazy weekend, coffee in hand, sun slicing through the blinds, not a care in the world, and then it explodes into something so messed up, so surreal, that you honestly question your grip on reality? That was me. Just a guy in his early 30s, finally in a good place. I'd busted my butt for years doing tech consulting, pulled long nights, sacrificed vacations, even relationships. And after all that, I'd finally rewarded myself with a car I used to dream about as a broke college kid, a yellow Lamborghini Gallardo. Bright like a sunflower and loud enough to wake the whole subdivision down. It was more than a car. It was my I made it moment. I kept her spotless, garaged, insured, waxed. You get it. She wasn't just a ride, she was a symbol. And that Saturday morning, I walked into my garage with my coffee, ready for a solo drive down the coastal highway, maybe grab lunch at that place with the killer lobster roll. Instead, I found something, or rather, someone that made my stomach sink. There was this woman, late 60s, red hair tied in a messy ponytail, wearing a faded tracksuit like she'd just walked off a 90s infomercial. She had her hand on the Gallardo like it was hers, and dangling from her other hand were my car keys. I froze. Can I help you?" I asked, putting my coffee down carefully, like sudden movement might make her bolt. She turned and looked at me like I was the intruder. "You can help me," she said, voice thick with a Boston accent, "by explaining why my car is in your garage." I thought I'd misheard. I blinked a few times. "I'm sorry. Your car." "Don't play dumb with me," she snapped, raising the keys. "These are mine. This is my car. I don't know how you got it, but I'm taking it back today." Now, I've met audacious people before, but this woman? She broke the meter. I explained that I'd owned the Gallardo for over a year and a half, bought it from a dealership, had the title, insurance, maintenance records, the whole 9 yards. Her face twisted, and I swear, I saw a storm building behind her eyes. "Paperwork can be faked," she spat. "I know what you people are like." And right then, I knew. It wasn't just a misunderstanding. She wasn't just confused. This woman, Viv YN, as she later introduced herself, was accusing me not just of theft, but of being exactly the kind of person she believed was capable of it. Because I'm black. Still, I tried to stay calm. She softened for a second. Said the car used to belong to her late husband, Marcus. Gave me the whole story. He'd bought it for their 40th anniversary. Yellow was her favorite color. They were going to drive cross-country together before he died of cancer. And yeah, I admit, the way she told it, I felt something. Grief is grief, right? And if you've ever lost someone, you know how desperation can make people do wild things. But I still said no. I told her it couldn't be the same car. I bought it legally, from Riverside Auto. She insisted that her nephew, Raymond, had stolen everything after the funeral, probably sold the car without her knowledge. She said she'd been searching for it for months. Then she pulled out a photo. Her and some guy, Marcus, I assume, standing in a driveway. And behind them, a yellow Gallardo. Same scratch on the bumper as mine. My heart dropped. "What the hell?" She begged me. "I'm not asking for money," she said. "I just want my husband's car back." I didn't know what to say. I told her I needed time to check things out. She handed me the photo, kept the keys, just to keep the car safe, and left. As she walked off, my neighbor across the street, Mr. Henrik, was standing there, watching like it was the neighborhood soap opera. I waved, pretending everything was cool, but my mind was spinning. Had I been conned? Was the car stolen before I got it? Or was I being played now? I spent the rest of the day DVYing into paperwork, title, bill of sale, registration, insurance. Everything checked out, but the photo kept gnawing at me. Then she showed up again. This time, dressed different. Classy, even black dress, pearls, styled hair. She said she'd brought more proof. Opened a folder full of documents, purchase receipt from a luxury dealer called Premium Motors, insurance papers from Apex, more photos. The documents looked real. Weren't aged. Everything screamed authentic. She even had a second photo of her and her husband standing next to the car. But something didn't sit right. When I compared the VIN on her papers to mine, it matched. And yet, I bought the car from Riverside Auto, who said they'd gotten it new. No record of a Marcus Morrison anywhere. I suggested we call the police. Her demeanor changed to get fear now, and a kind of twitchy panic. She begged for more time. Said she'd talk to Raymond. She needed until Monday. After she left, I did some digging. Called Premium Motors. They said no record of the VIN or a Marcus Morrison. I called Apex Insurance. Same thing, no record, no confirmation. The next morning, I was woken up by the sound of my garage opening. I bolted outside just in time to see Vivian backing my Gallardo out. "I'm sorry," she shouted, "but I can't wait any longer. I need to register it in my name." I called the cops immediately. The officers were Sharp, Rodriguez, and Thompson. I told them everything. They took notes, asked questions. I described the forged documents, the shifting stories. They found the car the next day abandoned but untouched. Inside, though, was a manila envelope. Dozens of photos of my car taken at different times, in different places. Restaurants, shopping centers, even my office. Someone had been following me. For years. A notebook found inside the glove box detailed movements of the Gallardo dating back 2 years before I even bought it. The writing? Feminine, neat, obsessive. Turns out Vivian wasn't Vivian. Her real name? Margaret Whitfield. Arrested 3 years earlier for stalking a family in another suburb of Weishown. Same MO. Different name. I was just starting to process that when a guy showed up at my door claiming to be an attorney of Y.D. Peterson. Said he represented Mrs. Morrison's estate and wanted to resolve the misunderstanding. But something was off. His story was too smooth. His credentials didn't check out. No record of his firm. I kicked him out. Reported it to Officer Rodriguez. The net was getting bigger. Then came the bombshell. A detective from Major Crimes Detective McGuire told me Margaret was part of a nationwide fraud ring. Emotional manipulation scams. They'd been watching me for years. Learning everything about me. All to pull off a con that would make me hand over my own car willingly. But it went deeper. Margaret had a fixation on yellow cars. And me. Her apartment was covered in photos of me. Schedules. Maps. Fake social media profiles. She'd created an entire fantasy life. As me. And the Gallardo? Just a symbol. She wanted saw my life saw. Then came the biggest twist. Another VY-sider. Claimed to be a psychiatrist Dr. Vance. Said Margaret wasn't working alone. That she'd been recruited by someone. That I wasn't a random target. When I demanded proof of her identity, she hesitated. So I called McGuire. "Mr. Ricky," she said, voice sharp. "Get out of the house now. Dr. Vance was found dead 3 days ago." My blood turned cold. The woman who then admitted her real name was Rebecca Torres said she was FBI. My cousin. My father's niece. She told me the truth about my dad's death. He didn't die in a car accident. His brake lines were cut. Because he discovered something Denke of massive financial fraud at the company he worked for. My mom had kept the Denke hidden for decades. Passed it to Rebecca before she died. The car, my career, my life, had all become bait in a game I didn't even know I was playing. And the people behind the fraud? They were still out there. Watching. Waiting. Willing to kill. We escaped that night barely. I entered witness protection. New name. New city. New life. But they found me again. Margaret started writing letters from psychiatric custody. Kept saying I knew where the documents were. That we hadn't finished what we started. Rebecca said we couldn't run anymore. So we set a trap. I let myself be the bait. What happened next? I can't talk about that yet. Let's just say it involved surveillance vans, a staged apartment, and a showdown that left more questions than answers. But I will say this. Sometimes, the life you think is yours isn't really yours at all. Sometimes, it's been watched, studied, engineered, by people who believe it should have belonged to them. And sometimes, you only serve YVE because you asked the right questions at the wrong time. So yeah, that was my Saturday. And every day since has been about unraveling the truth of how a yellow Lamborghini turned my world upside down. If you've made it this far, thank you. Now I want to know what Saw You Saw think. Was Margaret a criminal? A VY Tim? Or something else entirely? And what would you have done if someone showed up at your door with your keys and said Saw Your Life Saw was actually Saw Their Saw? Drop your thoughts below. I'll be reading every single one.